Hello, my Facebook family. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on my Crystal Loves Texas podcast. Now, these lovely ladies in red to my right are here because we've got a second segment to our series that we're doing on empowerment. Now, if you remember last week, our series was, let me look at the right camera. I'm looking at the right camera now. Our series started with empowerment, and we had the Coalition for Barrier-Free Living. And I was jumping the gun a little bit, ladies, because I kept trying to have the guests tell me what the services were. And they kept saying, no, Crystal, you got to wait, because next week the managers are going to be on who are over all the services that we offer. And they're going to tell you all about the services. But the first thing I want to do, I want to recap a little bit. And I am going to turn, and anybody can jump in and kind of tell me, whoever feels most comfortable doing this. But for the people that were not able to join us last week, tell us again exactly what the Coalition for Barrier-Free Living is. Tell us about the organization.
Okay. We're a nonprofit, federally funded, non-residential advocacy organization. We provide resources and referrals to individuals that are disabled. We work for and with people with disabilities.
Regardless of the type of disability.
Regardless of the type of disabilities, we do not discriminate age or disability-wise.
Okay. With that in mind, so we're going to be hearing about a lot of different services today, but with that in mind, I'm going to let the ladies introduce themselves, starting with the young lady to my far right. Introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your position at the coalition.
I sure will. Hi, I'm Jacqueline McFarland. I work for the Houston Center for Independent Living. We cover the Harris County geography.
Okay.
That includes all of Houston, in addition to some neighboring communities. Harris County is the third most populated county in the nation.
It is, yes.
And our small and mighty staff does the very best that we can to serve that population of over 4 million people. So that's my program. I'm with the Houston Center for Independent Living.
Wow. And in Harris County, like you said, it covers a lot of ground.
It's a lot of territory.
Okay, next.
Hi, my name is Pamela Goodson. I work for the Brazoria County Center for Independent Living. We cover 2 counties. It's Brazoria County and Matagorda County. And we're at 1104D East Mulberry in Angleton. And we're open now and ready to serve consumers.
Okay.
Hi, good evening. My name is Pamela Clark. I'm the program manager at Fort Bend Center for Independent Living.
Okay.
We're located at 12946 Dairy Ashford Road, Suite 110. That's in Sugar Land, Texas, 77478. And our contact number is 281-980-2219. We cover 5 counties, and those counties include Fort Bend, as well as Waller, Wharton, Fort Bend, Waller, Wharton, Austin, and Colorado.
That's a big area.
Yes, and
That's a big area.
Yes, and we are more than we advocate for all those counties, and we're ready for people to come in for services.
That is awesome. Now, I'm looking. I know the answer to this, but in 1978, I know that the Coalition for the Houston Center for Independent Living. And I asked this question last week, and I want you to kind of reiterate this because I got confused a little bit myself. Tell me a little bit more about the Coalition for Barrier-Free Living and the difference in the Houston Center for Independent Living. That should people get those confused, or are they under the same umbrella?
The Coalition for Barrier-Free Living was a disabilities advocacy group in the Houston area. And at the time that the disability rights was becoming a national conversation.
Yes.
And at the time of the more awareness about people with disabilities having all the abilities that anyone else has.
Right.
Out of that came the Center for Independent Living establishment. The Houston Center for Independent Living, we affectionately call the mothership.
Okay.
It was the first center for independent living in the state of Texas.
Okay.
established in 1978, and it is a
Right.
nonprofit, and it is comprised under our 3 centers.
Right.
Houston, Fort Bend, and Brazoria are under the umbrella of that larger Coalition for Barrier-Free Living nonprofit organization. And the Center for Independent Living, it's organized somewhat through the National Health and Human Services,
Right.
and the Independent Living Research Utilization Group. And so there's a Center for Independent Living that is responsible to serve every county in every state in the nation.
Repeat that.
There's a Center for Independent Living,
yes,
like Houston, Brazoria, and Fort Bend,
right,
that is responsible to serve every county.
I didn't know that.
In every state in the nation.
I had no idea. And I think probably if I didn't, a lot of other people didn't realize that too. So basically what you're saying is that there should be no one out there who is in need of a service that should not be able to have access to that service.
Right. There's a Center for Independent Living that will advocate
yes,
for anyone in any county, no matter who they are, their age, their disability, or what their need is. Because we'll talk with people about whatever need they have, help them get connected, help provide the service.
Right.
And, it's one of our staff members says that the Centers for Independent Living, they're just about the best kept secret in the world of disability services.
Yes.
And I'd have to agree. So thank you for having us on.
Oh, you are quite welcome. And I'm learning a lot too, just in speaking with you ladies. And one thing that when I did our little teaser last week, introducing the series, one thing that a lot of people, I don't think understand is that all of us, every person is just one accident or health crisis,
right,
or advance in age away from needing the services. So it's literally something that if you don't need it now, at some point your life will be touched by the need for one of these services. And if not you, quite possibly someone in your immediate family.
Exactly. Maria's story last week was exactly what you're talking about.
Exactly.
And it's the one minority group that, like you said, you can become a member of
at
any point in your life. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Well, let me ask you this, and Pamela, let me kind of go to you on this, because as far as services are concerned, if you could just kind of give your opinion, how far have we actually come in Texas in being really able to provide those the breaking down of barriers just within the last 20 years to make it more equitable for people?
Okay. Well, I feel like that we've come a long ways, but we have a long ways to go.
Wow.
So I've been in the world of people with disabilities for a little bit over 40 years. And so I personally have been touched by it.
Yes.
And so I have personal experience with it. So I can speak on that. And I can say that we've come a long ways. I appreciate all the laws, the Ed Roberts and, the Martin Luther King and that advocated for civil rights and all of these independent living movements that got us where we are.
Right.
And the ADA law. Before the ADA law, it was hard.
Of course.
And so having to be able to take our children to school and be able to say they have rights, like all students, to have an education.
Yes.
Is a big deal.
Absolutely.
It's a really big deal. Knowing your rights, that's where the SEALs come in.
Yes.
To teach you. Knowledge is powerful.
Right.
And so knowledge will empower you to advocate for your rights for people with disabilities. If it's working in the SEAL, if it's the consumer themselves, if it's a parent for their child, whoever they are representing.
Yes.
And so, like I said, the state of Texas, I think where we're lacking in for that question would be funding. We have huge Medicaid waiver list.
Wow. That
people need to come off of. At this point,
explain that a little bit.
Okay. there are different Medicaid waiver lists. And I, personally probably couldn't name all of them, but I will name some specific, like CLASS, HCS. Some of those all have waiver lists. So
which means what?
HCS is Home Community Based Services.
Okay.
So you can get on those as soon as you're diagnosed with a disability.
Okay.
So if you're diagnosed at birth, you would call your local mental health authority to get on that list. You could be on that list for 18 to 20 years. And so it's earlier to get on it, the better, because then you have something to transition into as a child.
Right.
And when you get out of high school to the HCS program. So to know about that, there is no book out there to tell you about those things.
It's word of mouth.
So it is, or you can, hopefully come across someone that's been there, done that.
Yes.
And so that's kind of like even where the SIL comes in too for stuff like that. But the Medicaid waiver list, some of them are, have, 120,000 people on them, 170,000 people on them. And so that's where Texas is lacking.
Yeah.
So I don't want to get into, just talking too much about the negativity, because we do, we're here to advocate and to empower you and to let you know about those lists so you can get on those lists. But the sooner the better.
If I may add a point to that.
Absolutely.
Your point, the sooner the better, is absolutely right.
Yeah.
In serving youth, we often come across folks with a teenager who's going to graduate. Right. And in the public school system, their youth special services or kids with disabilities, those services go until the kids are 22.
Okay.
And about that point, some families are, they know they're going to need support. If both parents need to work, they're going to need some help in the home. Right. If their young adult is unable to work or is only able to work part-time. Right. And that's where Pamela's comment, the sooner the better, that you can apply and get on a waiver program. They call them not wish lists, but they call them lists. And the sooner the better.
What does a waiver program provide? If I were a person, right now, and I am the parent of a young person who is disabled, who was recently disabled, maybe by way of accident or something like that, I'm just lost. What would be the first step that I would take?
Well, I can help answer that to piggyback on Pamela and Jacqueline. The HCS waiver, that's the home community-based waiver. That's the Cadillac of all the waivers.
Okay.
You would get medical, dental, the works for that. So if you would qualify for it, you could get on the HCS list. But it depends on where you are in the process. As Pamela was saying, you get on that waiver list. Say if you get Texas Home Living, you won't get the full-fledged benefit, but you will get some where the parents will go out and be able to work and somebody come in to help take care of you. So there are different measures and steps that are taken depending on your stage.
So basically, is this what you're saying? Because I want to make sure that I understand this well, because I'm probably not, like I said, not the only one with this question. But if there is someone who is, you said it depends on where you are in the process. So someone would have access to that easier, or it would be less difficult if they had been in the system for a while.
Exactly. Just like Miss Pamela said.
Yeah.
When people understand what it is, it's not a book, like she was saying.
Yeah.
You have to sometimes know people.
Exactly.
Sometimes you have to call those mental health authorities.
Right.
And they'll give you the information, but you have to know what to ask for.
You got to have an advocate.
And there's still a wait for those waiver programs. There's going to be a wait, and it's going to be years. So that's where if your child's born with a disability, it's good to know someone or connect with a SIL, a Center for Independent Living, to get connected, or go to the Mental Health Authority or the Health and Human Services, and apply and get on that waiting list as soon as you can, whatever list it is, because that's going to provide home-based care and supports for your young adult. Because if you call us when your young person is 18 or 20, it's too late to get on. It's not too late to get on the waivers. But if you need that help next year, that list is still 15 to 20 years long.
So that's really a a stumbling block
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
that we need to try to figure out how to work through.
Right. There's a lot of programs and services that are filling in that gap.
Yeah.
And ideally, wouldn't it be great if all that money went to bring down those waiver list time frames?
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is it's different funding, it's different people and resources and organizations trying to do this, give them support and helps.
Right. Well, let me ask you this. Now, if I'm a person who is recently disabled and I've been told by my doctor that I'm going to need personal care, I'm quite possibly going to need assisted living or housing, and this is something new to me.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I have a friend who was recently diagnosed with MS and who is beginning to lose some of her mobility. So with a person, and we all know that that's a type of diagnosis that many times it doesn't come until someone is well into adulthood.
Right.
So are adults just kind of left out there kind of flailing? What would an adult do?
No, and I can answer a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not, I don't want to come across as the expert, but some of these waiver lists does depend on when you are diagnosed before the age of 18.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. And so when you do become disabled as an adult, you would, still contact your HHSC and see if you qualify for some of these in-home services.
Okay.
Otherwise, you would look, at your insurance and see if there's some insurance benefits that can do this. But, some of the waiver lists that we're talking about, it does only, you have to be diagnosed before the age of 18.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But
Yes.
If you can get Medicaid, if the person qualifies for Medicaid, that opens up some doors too.
Okay.
And so it is a very complicated system, and that's why we, as a SEAL, is there to help you walk through that journey when something like this happens to
Right.
you that changes your life.
So
so-
my first point of contact would be the coalition if that happened.
I would
Right.
hope so.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And as
I would
Pam
hope so.
said, the acronym HHSC is Health and Human Services
Right.
Commission.
Mhm.
And what we do best is we help you sort through the information, your options, and help you to understand your best path or maybe different paths that you can take
Yeah.
to help get what you need.
And we're so closely related to a lot of resources in the community that are out there that we can make that connection
Right.
with people to, like Jackie was saying, to understand the avenues that they can take.
Mhm.
And it's such a relief a lot of times.
Yes.
They may call us back for additional information, and we always share that information with them. That's why research is so important. That's one of the things we do.
Yes.
So when you have a person with MS that may
Right.
have a problem going from stage 1 to 5,
Yes.
we can interject the resources that they need and help them move forward
Okay.
toward independence.
Okay. The best way that I could really describe it, ladies, just based on, that has got to be a very, very frightening position for someone to be in who is a person who has recently become disabled.
Mm-hmm.
And the best way that I could describe it, it's almost like being dropped off in another country and not knowing the language
Yeah.
Exactly.
or how to maneuver it all.
Exactly.
Unless someone steps forward and says, I can help you, or I speak your language, let me help you maneuver through this.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Today, for example, we came from our jobs here, and I know that one of my staff members is actively helping someone who has no income. I don't know the
Yes.
circumstances.
Right.
Is living with a family member, is elderly, and is a recent amputee of a couple different limbs.
Wow.
And they have no idea which way to turn.
Exactly.
And someone said, call the Houston Center for Independent Living. So the sister did.
Right.
And we're in the process of helping her sort through options to
Exactly.
best care for and provide for her brother. And it's very
Yes.
satisfying and sometimes discouraging
Mhm.
when we can't do enough to help stand in that gap, but we do the best we can to stand in that gap and provide services to anyone who calls.
Yeah.
And one of the things, Crystal, that
Mhm.
I love about the CILs is that we research. But then with the research, like Jackie was saying, sometimes we do our best to provide those options.
Right.
But when we can't find those options, we refer to another area, but we do
Exactly.
research first.
That's great.
We may not have it all at one point,
Right.
but sometimes, and I love researching, so I always try to find the best referral for them.
So really, like I said, if they make that connection with the coalition or the center, then that is their first point of contact. And from that point, they can be referred to any of the other services that they may need. Now, with that in mind, many times those with a disability may find themselves depressed or not feeling like they are socially in a place where they can get out and meet people and interact and see other people like them. Does the coalition or does the Center for Independent Living help people navigate through that kind of situation too?
Yes, we do. As a matter of fact, one of the things that we do when they call in, they're introduced to a counselor.
Okay.
The counselor will talk with them, they will share their information with them. We have what's called a little mini assessment.
I'm going to pull this a little bit closer to you.
Yes. And we utilize that assessment. And from there, we gauge where they need to be with their consent.
Right.
And we set goals. And from there, we work with them to find those resources that will better suit them.
Some of the services that we offer 5 main core services at our CILs.
At each one of the locations?
At all of our locations.
Every CIL provides 5 core services.
Okay, great.
And it's advocacy, transition, independent living skills, information referral, and peer counseling.
Okay.
And peer counseling is one that Pamela was talking about that would help someone that is depressed, and because it's kind of like I've been there, done that.
Exactly.
So we all have worked with people with disabilities, and so if someone is calling in for a certain, and we have someone that we know of has been through the same thing, we will connect them with that person so that they can speak, and it's peer counseling. And then sometimes we just have parents or grandparents or anybody to call in, and we can relate to them ourselves through our own personal experience and stuff. So that is peer counseling. And so, but some of those questions would be great for you to ask the next group that you're fixing to have.
Absolutely.
Because they're going to give your personal experience.
Yeah.
I'm glad you asked the question about how can we help people who, especially after the pandemic, have been shut in.
Yes.
And any mental health issue has certainly been exacerbated by the lockdowns.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad you asked, because each one of our centers, independent and collectively sometimes, we have regular monthly programming that we've been doing virtually because our offices have just opened.
Right.
We've been open this whole time providing services, but we just opened this week again to in-person services.
Correct.
And programming since March of 20. It's been a long time.
That is.
So we're very pleased to have our doors open to appointments with consumers, appointments with anyone who's new to the Center for Independent Living. Call us and make an appointment. We'd love to talk with you.
Right.
But at the Houston Center for Independent Living, we have a handful of monthly programming. One of them is weekly American Sign Language classes by a teacher who's been in the industry for over 30 years. She's very good. We have a Women on the Move, a women's group. We have a housing options hour where any question you have about housing, it can be answered by our housing specialist who's coming up in the next segment, Miss Annabelle. We have our Man Up group, which is Men Ability Network United for Purpose.
Okay.
It's a support group as well for men, both Women on the Move and the Man Up. They do, they meet for that support, but they also do programming. We're starting an art appreciation hour every month, and with our reopening, we're trying to organize. We've been organizing to get back to some of the things the Houston Center did best. One of those is Braille instruction.
Yes.
And one of our case managers will be starting a support group for individuals who are newly blind. That's going to be starting in March.
People don't think about that too often.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's a significant demographic. The number of people who are newly blind. And like you said earlier, they're new to this minority group and have no idea about what to do next. So we hope to provide some support for that as well. And Brazoria and Fort Bend, they also have calendars of regular monthly activities. And then one-off programming that we schedule with all of our community partners. Some of those community partners are the Houston Food Bank,
Okay.
The FEAT, the Families for Effective Autism Treatment,
Okay.
the Lighthouse for the Blind,
Yes.
the University of Houston's Family Can program. The list goes on and on and on. And we just, like Pam said, we do our best to stay connected in the community so that we can get people connected to what they need.
Well, let me ask you this, and I asked this last week too. Are there particular services that are offered for children and for teens or high school age students? Or are they kind of incorporated into the general programs?
In Brazoria County, we actually have a high school student that's in our transitional services and has on-the-job training. She comes once a week to our office on Thursday.
Yes.
And so we do things like that. We have they're involved, can be involved in any of the other ones.
Okay.
Youth transition.
Yes.
And so we have one of our schools have a search program, and we have offered on-the-job training hours for them to be involved with the search program. The search program is where children with autism are teens, adults, the ones that are fixing to graduate out of high school, and actually are getting on-the-job trainings at one of our chemical plants at Dow.
Wow.
And some would get employed. And
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So
we try.
That's awesome.
Yes. We also have youth with Fort Bend. And what we do is we partner with TWC. And many times when they're about to graduate, we attend arts, we find out where they are.
Yes.
And we also include the parents. So the parents know the different options. And with TWC, they look at what they want to do, if they still work, if they want to go to college, excel in a trade,
and there's so many choices.
It's so many
TWC.
options, and it's a good thing. And TWC does a good job partnering with us to ensure that our youth are taken care of and given those options.
And one quick point is when the children are in school, the schools are able to help them meet most of those needs for services. And at the Houston Center, we have a program through the Baylor College of Medicine where youth learn to mentor, to learn how to advocate for themselves.
That's
called
awesome.
the Youth Peer Mentoring Program. So
it's all inclusive. Everyone is included.
Yeah.
That's and before our next group comes in, ladies, I've got another question I want to ask you, and it really doesn't matter who answers this, and you all three may have a little something to add to this. But if someone is getting out of the hospital soon and they'll be doing things a little bit differently around their house because of a disability that they now have, are there services how would they go about finding out how to function within their new normal at home?
That's a good question too. Another program that will be highlighted in the coming weeks is our independent living services.
Okay.
And if someone qualifies for that program, they can get you connected with mobility and orientation services.
Yes.
Where for someone who's visually impaired or blind, you are quite literally taught how to navigate from your bedroom to your kitchen.
Wow.
How to cook, how to navigate to the bus stop.
Yes.
So those services are available inside and outside of our agency.
Because what was so just absolutely empowering for me to see last week was how some of the clients who were now advocates at the center navigate so independently all around Houston. And that's what we want. That's what we should all be trying to strive towards. But ladies, before I let you go, Pamela, and Jacqueline, can you all please again give me a contact number for Houston, for Brazoria County, and for Fort Bend?
Absolutely.
Okay.
The Houston Center is at our new location at 1111 Wilcrest Green, near the intersection of Beltway 8 and West Park Drive.
Okay.
Our contact number is 713-974-4621.
Okay.
I'm the Brazoria County Center for Independent Living, which is better known as BCCIL. It is 1104D, East Mulberry, Angleton, Texas. It's 979-849-7060. And please call.
Thank you again. Our address is Fort Bend, Centers for Independent Living, 12946 Dairy Ashford Road, Suite 110. That's Sugarland, Texas 77478. And our contact number is 281-980-2219. And just for lastly, can I say this?
Absolutely.
When any person calls in with a disability,
Yes.
the service is free. We're
Yes.
open from Monday through Thursday from 8 to 5.
Yes.
Awesome. And that goes for all of the
us.
centers.
For all the
Everything
centers.
is free of charge. If you need it, definitely take advantage of it. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much, ladies.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Krista.
You're
we
welcome.
are going to have a transition
right.
here,
Okay.
and we're going to see 3 other people in these
That's right.
seats.
Exactly.
It's not
Thank you.
magic, but this is the magic of production.
Right.
Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you
so
Krista.
much.
You're welcome. Are we on? Okay, great. We are back with actually some clients who have become um, affiliated with the coalition over the years. And this is the best part because I love to hear stories about how the organization actually helps people in their lives. That's going to be the part that people want to hear about. So I've got 3 guests here with me. I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves, and we're going to start like we did before. Over to my far right. Introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about how you became involved with the coalition.
Well, my name is KJ Raby. I was born and raised in Lake Jackson, Texas.
Oh, yeah.
I have a bachelor's degree from Lamar.
Okay.
And in 2011, I was injured in a diving accident.
Wow. Okay.
Which left me a wheelchair-bound, incomplete quadriplegic.
Okay. And tell me what that means.
That means that I have no feeling from my chest down.
Okay.
My arms still work, but my hands are very affected.
Okay.
So all 4 limbs are affected.
Okay.
So quadriplegic.
Okay.
After that, I did my stints in rehab and got out of rehab, went home, and for about 2 years kind of laid around in bed.
Yes.
I was like, yeah, okay, I guess. And then one day I decided that I needed to try to go back to work.
Yes.
So I did try, and it didn't work out great.
Okay.
So I said, well, that's, I guess, my life now.
And what was your line of work that you were in?
Before that, I was an account manager for an industrial supply house.
Okay.
So I came from the corporate world.
Yeah.
And I laid around, and then I resigned to that was my life now.
Yeah.
I mean, being disabled and just kind of hanging around the house.
Yeah.
And then I had a family member that found out BCCIL was hiring.
Yes.
And they're like, you should go apply for a job. And I'm like, no, that's not for me anymore. I don't work. And they're like, no, really, you should. And I'm like, okay, if you'll leave me alone, then I will go apply for a job.
Uh-huh.
And I did, and I went, and I was so nervous because I knew I was doing this just to make everybody else happy. There's no way I'm ever going to get hired again.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I did.
You were kind of feeling a little sorry for yourself.
I was.
Yeah.
For a long time, I was.
Yeah.
But I did get hired, and I got a job. And that was in 2016.
Wow.
I've been doing it ever since. And I've grown to where this is a passion now, not just a job.
Yes.
And I don't do it just because I am disabled. I do it because it's awesome. And it's fantastic to get to help people. And it's fantastic just to be around other disabled people sometimes.
Yes. And let people see the abilities that people have and not the disabilities.
Even if you don't believe it as a person with a disability.
Yes.
So I didn't believe that I could
You had
do
to see
anything. Yeah. And then I did it, and it's great.
That's awesome. And Annabelle.
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Annabelle. I'm originally from Chicago,
Wow.
Illinois, from the Windy City. And it's interesting how I became involved with the coalition because I remember sitting in my 7th grade classroom, along with my classmates with disabilities, all in one classroom, me having cerebral palsy all my life, along with my other students with disabilities who also had disabilities, and there was something going on in the media, and everybody was excited. I'm like, what's going on? Well, President Bush is about to sign into the Americans with Disabilities.
Yes, I remember that. I remember.
We were all paying attention.
Yeah.
It was this big deal. And so to me, it was very impactful because I didn't know that years later it would have a great impact in the work that I do now.
Yes.
For the Houston Center for Independent Living. So after that, we shortly moved to Texas, where I started high school, and it was different for me because I started attending the integrated classroom.
Yes.
And so a lot of those things started changing for me. So from there, I got the opportunity to go to college.
Yes.
And, I took several classes that had to do with nonprofit coordination.
Yes.
And psychology. And so I kind of knew that I wanted to help people.
Right.
And so at the time when I started looking for jobs, I applied at different locations. And like most of the disability population, it's important to say 70% of the population, people with disabilities, is unemployed.
Right.
So at that point, I was, part of that. And so, after going to several interviews,
yes,
and the first thing they will see is the wheelchair and my, so all these perceptions.
Right.
But me being stubborn and a go-getter, I'm like, no, I want to work just like my brothers,
right,
my sisters,
right,
because that's what I was taught from my parents. So, I came across the Houston Center for Independent Living, and so after volunteering there 3 months, I was hired, and I've been there ever since. It's my second home.
Oh wow! Now what year was that? How long have you been with the center?
So I started with the center in 2004.
Oh my gosh, that's almost 20 years.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
It's my second home.
That's awesome.
And it's, to me, it's an opportunity to share my story and empower others to say, hey, just because we have a disability doesn't mean we don't deserve a life of productivity and inclusion.
Absolutely.
And given the opportunity.
That's absolutely right. Absolutely right. And Miss Gretchen.
Hi.
Tell us a little bit about how you became involved.
Okay.
With the coalition.
Well, my name is Gretchen Stockstill.
Yes.
And I was born with spina bifida.
Okay.
So I'm a paraplegic.
Okay.
I'm paralyzed from my waist down.
Okay.
And so my parents raised me to be very independent.
Yes.
I was actually able to be the first child in the A-Leave school district that was integrated immediately into class, because my mother had been told that I was going to have to go to a special school.
Right.
And
I remember when they were doing that. Yeah.
And she said, but my daughter doesn't need a special
That's
school.
right. Yeah.
So they spoke to the superintendent of the A-Leave school districts, and they got me in the class.
Yes.
And I had a few accommodations where I would leave class early and things like that to go across the school to go to gym class.
Right.
I had an awesome PE teacher. He set me exercises up, and I climbed the rope to the top and rang the bell.
Yes.
And it was really quite exciting.
Yeah.
But fast forward, I learned how to drive after I graduated high school.
Okay.
And I was in the travel business for, I think, 16 years.
Okay.
And worked for airlines and travel agencies and places like that. I never went to college. So when I got laid off from the travel agency, because that kind of went kaput.
It's affected by recessions.
Yes, exactly.
Absolutely.
So at that point, I was unemployed.
Okay.
But I was very close friends with the program director of the Houston Center for Independent Living at that time. And he did not drive, but he had appointments outside of where Metro Lift could take him.
Okay.
So he said, well, we'll hire you contract if you'll drive me to Cypress, Texas, or Katy, Texas, or what have you. And then a position became available in the Fort Bend office.
Okay.
And the executive director at that time, she interviewed me, and she said, even though I didn't have a degree, I had experience as a woman with a disability that was had lived a successful life.
Right.
So she saw the value in my experience, even though I didn't have a degree.
Yes.
Because I could relate to people with disabilities.
And you're very well spoken. Yes, you have a gift for gab.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
You do, yes.
Yeah. So, and I also learned through the 13 and a half years that I've been with the coalition that you can learn something from everyone and you can teach something to everyone.
Right.
So having having that mindset that everyone has something to give and
Yes.
everyone has something to receive, no matter what challenges we have.
Right.
Because we work with people with cognitive disabilities,
Okay.
physical disabilities, mental disabilities, disabilities of all kinds.
Right.
And we can all learn from one another and support one another. And that's what I enjoy the most, is teaching people how to problem solve.
Well, let me ask you this. What was it like being a trailblazer in Alief ISD? That's now I remember I was this is in the 90s, right? In the 90s.
Well, actually, I started school in 1975.
Okay, so in high school, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay. You when were you in Alief High School?
Oh, I was in.
I'm not trying to make you
no,
tell
it's
your
okay.
age.
No, I don't mind. I tell people all the time my age, but I graduated in 1988.
Okay. You're just a little bit behind me. Okay. Now, what was it like being the first, having to open those doors for others to come behind you? Did you get to see other people with disabilities come behind you, coming into those lower grades and taking advantage of what you started for them?
I actually did. It was really quite exciting.
Yeah.
To be honest, yeah, it really was very exciting to see.
KJ, I gotta ask you this.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's not something that is foreign, because men are men. Men a lot of times don't want to ask for help. They don't want to reach out.
Mm-hmm.
When men come into the center, is it more difficult for you to convince them that the services are there for them too, or to take advantage of services? When they see you, does it soften them to coming in and being able to take advantage of services?
It can, and a lot of times it can help a lot.
Yeah.
With me saying, and I know it's probably been said already, that even though we don't have the same disability, I guarantee you we've been through the same issues. And then a lot of times when guys come to the center, it's because their mom's with them or made them. Their wife did, their sister did. Somebody's kind of making them come or convincing them that they need to be there.
Yeah.
And so it can be tougher to get them to admit that they need help, or tell them that there's nothing wrong with needing help. Everybody needs help. It's just now you have to ask for more help, and you have to say it louder than you used to have to.
Right.
So sometimes it can be tough, but for the most part, they're pretty receptive to. And I think it might help with me being a man.
Right.
And me being there and, like I said, saying the same thing.
Exactly.
So.
Well, let me ask you something, Annabelle. Now, interestingly enough, you went to college and you were basically a go-getter. And you kind of demanded that you be seen and heard. When you see other people come in, younger ladies who may not have the confidence that you have, who may not have had parents and a family structure that kind of push them out there and push them forward, how do you get them to have that same confidence to want to go forward and do the kind of things that you've been able to do?
I just, first of all, get them involved with who they are. What is their essence? What is their interest?
Yeah.
Don't focus so much on the disability, but who are you as a person?
Right.
What do you want to do? What do you want to accomplish?
Yeah.
And build on those skills and interests to find a motivation,
Right.
So, and then from that point, we start working on a goal plan start identifying, okay, well, this is what my basis is. This is what I'm truly about. Okay, now what are my goals? What are going to be the steps to help me achieve there? Because I always say, go without a plan is just a dream.
That's true. So very much so.
You have to have a plan of the steps on how to get there. And sometimes, yes, we're not saying that the steps are going to be easy and they're not going to be barriers, because there's always barriers. But working together, we always find a way. And it's a plan is not set in stone. So keep in mind, everything can be changed. Everything can be modified. And people change all the time.
That's right.
Whatever you started with may not even be what you ended up.
That's right.
But the essence is that we gave it a try.
That's right. I didn't start out wanting to be a teacher. I didn't start out like that. I started out in something completely different. But sometimes if, like you said, you've got to self-reflect and see what really is in you and ask, what am I really supposed to be doing? And then that will come forward if you allow it to.
Yeah, because we get so many calls and so many clients that we call them consumers.
Yes.
Because it's a service.
Yes.
We serve them. So they're like, what can you provide to me? How can you help me? And we kind of turn it around, say, well, what do you need? What are you looking for? Where can we get started? So the ball is kind of there, put on there. We're just simply there to provide the resource.
So the name of your position would be consumer.
The name advocate. Of the position is community integration specialist.
Yes.
And that's what we do. We provide the resources to help integrate the consumer and help provide them with the resources and the guidance so they can ultimately achieve their goals.
Absolutely. Now, let me ask you guys this, and we could talk for a while because I have so many questions, but I know we only have an hour, but we don't have that much time now. But let me ask you all this. If someone right now is sitting watching the podcast and they say, well, I'm tired of just being at home, and I'm tired of not going forward with the things that I want to do because I have this physical limitation, what would you tell them in one word? Give me one word that you would use to encourage them to pick up that phone.
Now. It's not, if you can't do it now, then you're not going to do it in the morning. You can leave a message.
I like that. Yeah.
And it's only you can decide. Somebody can harp on you all day long that you need to get a job. You need to get out of bed. You need to do this. You need to do that.
Yeah.
You're the only one that can make that decision. And
now.
If you don't do it now, then when are you going to do it?
Yeah. So, Annabelle, what's that one word?
Give yourself a chance.
A chance.
Give yourself a chance. Give it a try. You won't know until you try.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you don't try, you'll never know.
Right.
What's that one word that you would give someone, Gretchen?
Courage.
Yes.
Because my favorite thing to tell people is that you have to have the courage to do what you can for yourself.
Yes.
And the humility to ask for help when you really need it.
I like that. Humility and courage. I like those together. Yes.
And they work together very well. And that's when we can create a team effort to help each other reach our potential, because that's what we want to do. We want to help people reach whatever their potential is, whatever they envision themselves doing. Because I tell people all the time, you have to see yourself doing it before you can do it.
Yes.
And if you can see yourself doing it, then we can help you figure out the steps to get to where you want to be.
Awesome. And just based on the people that we met last week, the managers, all of the clients and consumers and advocates that we've met this week, if someone wants to reach out and make that first step, there's going to be someone there who's been through what you've been through.
Absolutely.
Regardless of what the disability may be, someone there has walked in your shoes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, KJ, Annabelle, Gretchen, thank you guys so much again. And for the managers that came in, Jacqueline and Pamela, thank you so much for being here. Everybody's still here in the studio, guys. But listen, I just want to let you know, we're going to make sure that we get all of the information, the contact information that you need, posted in the comments, so that if you need to connect to the coalition in any way, you will have a way to connect. And I'm looking for those comments. Kenji, there they are right there. We got a lot of comments. Okay. Keep up the good work. Miss Frankie says, keep up the good work, guys. We have got a lot. And every time I make sure that I go back and I answer every comment, but we'll make sure that we get contact information for everyone. If you are watching and you want to connect to the Coalition for Barrier-Free Living, the Fort Bend, Brazoria County, or Houston centers, we'll make sure that we have that contact information in for you. Do not hesitate to reach out. And like we say every week, we can do it. See you next week, guys. Bye-bye.